हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम सर।
कृष्ण प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु।
हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु।
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all of you.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम।
Yes, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Okay, so let's continue to read from where we left last week. Okay, so we'll just offer prayers. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadadi Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sakagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Give me a second. Okay. So now we are in the situation where Arjuna, after returning back from Dwaraka to Hastinapur, is reporting back to Yudhishthira. Now, Yudhishthira is asking many questions to Arjuna. Okay, he began with the welfare of the rest of the people in Dwaraka, and then finally now he's coming to ask direct question as to where is our dear friend, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So now Arjuna is unable to answer. His heart is choking. His voice is choking. His heart is in grief. So, in this context, when this direct question were asked, Arjuna is now recollecting all the past experiences with the Lord. He's telling about many things, situations that happened in the life of the Pandavas, right? So, he's telling how Lord was the savior and Lord is the protector. Apart from the fact of the friend and all other things, how Lord is the savior and the protector, right? So he's telling how Lord helped him in various events throughout his life. Now what we will do is, today we will try to accomplish about 8 to 10 slokas. And at the end of the 10th sloka, what we will also do is, we'll also do something like a homework. In that homework, what shall we do is, we will take a pen and a paper. And we'll write down various events that happened in our life where there were hands of the Lord. Okay? So hands of the Lord is there in every event of our life, but hands of the Lord that is permanent, that made us to realize Him. Right? So, like that, we're going to write. Okay? So, we're going to write what are the favors that the Lord did and how that changed my life. It can be smallest thing to biggest thing. So, we'll each of write about 10 bullets. You don't need to write an essay format. Just 10 bullets telling what the situation is. Right? So that will make us to evolve our bhakti in our heart, just like how Arjuna is remembering each and every event and crying in grief. Arjuna demonstrated great devotion by this method. So we will follow something similar to that in our practice also. Okay? Okay, so let's start with the sloka 16. Yaddoshuma pranihitam guru bhishma karna napitra triggarta salya saindava balikadhyahai अस्त्राणि अमोघ महिमानि निरूपितानि नोपर्स्फुर नरहरि दाशम ivashurani. So now he is recollecting the great generals. Great generals like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Bhurishrava, Shusharma, Salya, Jayadratha, and Balika all directed their invincible weapons against me. But by his Lord Krishna's grace, they could not even touch a hair on my head. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj, the supreme devotee of Lord Nrsimhadev, was unaffected by the weapons the demons used against him. Right? So, yeah, a quick recap of these events are, in this life of Prahlad Maharaj, many tortures were awarded to him by Hiranyakashipu just because he was chanting the name of Narayana and remembering Narayana for everything. Right? And you see, in every difficulty that was offered to him, Prahlad Maharaj came out successfully. Nothing happened to him. It said, he touched the hair of it. That means there's not even a scratch on his body. Right? Completely protected by the Lord. The Sudarshan Chakra shields Nrsimhadev like anything. Right? So similarly, he's giving examples in his life also. So we know this case with Karna. Karna wanted to fire the Nagastra weapon on Krishna, and there was no way escaping out of that. But Krishna, he lowered the chariot, and it hit the helmet and not this neck, right? So Krishna protected him. And he's talking about that great pastime about what happened with Jayadratha, right? I hope all of you would recollect Jayadratha pastimes, right? So Jayadratha, the first event was during Swayamvar, right? When Draupadi was to be won in Swayamvar, Jayadratha came that time and still he lost. But he had a lot of attraction for Draupadi. Draupadi was very beautiful to look at. She was a little bit darker, but she was very attractive and beautiful. So Jayadratha had an eye on her and he wanted to attain her, but he could not. In Swayamvar he failed. Arjuna won Draupadi in the Swayamvar. Then later on, what happened in one of the situation when Jayadratha was going inside the forest areas, this is during the Vanavas period. He saw Draupadi in the forest, right? So then he wanted to, attain her. He tried to capture her, right? So at the time there was a big fight, and then the Pandavas, mainly Bhimasena, chastised him. Finally, caught him, and he hit him almost to death. Almost he died. To that level he hit him. And he was about to kill him, but at that time again Yudhishthira and Draupadi told him, no, pardon him. Don't hit him. Don't kill him. Right? So he was spared, but that spare cost a big fortune for the entire Pandava family. Why? Because after that event, Jayadratha went to the Himalaya mountains and then did a lot of penance and pleased Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva came and asked, what do you want? He said, I want to be stronger than the Pandavas. He said, that's not possible because Pandavas are invincible. Then he said, okay, at least one day you make them to be defeated by me. So Lord Shiva awarded him the benediction. So with that benediction, he can defeat the Pandavas or control them for one full day. That's the benediction he got. So he used it the right moment. So in the war field, the great Mahabharata war, we had the situation where the Kauravas planned for Chakravyuh. So the Chakravyuh was actually planned to capture Yudhishthira and kill him. And Yudhishthira never knew the details and the techniques of Chakravyuh. But however, the news came to the Pandavas, and then the Pandavas were thinking what to do today. Right? Now, when did the news come? It came in the course of the day of the war. It did not come before the war started. But by the time the news came, Arjuna and Krishna were diverted to go somewhere else. Right? So they were not present. So Abhimanyu comes forward and says, no, I've learned from my father the Chakravyuh. So I can know how to enter the Chakravyuh. And Bhimasena, what does he do? He tells, I'll be behind him and I'll ensure that I break the Chakravyuh and get the Pandavas out of the Chakravyuh. So that's the arrangement they make. And successfully they enter the Chakravyuh by Abhimanyu, and all the Pandavas are behind him. And you see, Jayadratha came at a point once Abhimanyu entered the Chakravyuh, and immediately he entered. So he stopped Bhimasena and he used his boon. So by his boon, he was able to stop the entire Pandavas, including Bhimasena, not able to defeat him at all. And unfortunately, what happened? Abhimanyu went and he got caught, and then he was killed, massacred in an improper manner. The rules of the war were never followed there. When Arjuna came to know about this, he cried for his son, but he took a vow that he will kill Jayadratha before sunset. Now, immediately what the Kauravas did, they hid Jayadratha so that Arjuna can never find him. Arjuna searched. He could not find him at all. And now Arjuna has to die. So Krishna protected him. How? He caused the solar eclipse. And by the cause of the solar eclipse, Jayadratha thought the day was over. Now, once the day, sunset is over, there is no more war. And people will stop fighting. So Jayadratha came in jubilation. Oh, the day is over. Now we will see Arjuna commit suicide. But what did Krishna do? He immediately brought the sun out of the whole picture. He brought sun back. The solar eclipse was over. And Jayadratha was caught. Now, there was a hidden agenda by the Kauravas. Why? Because Jayadratha, if he's killed by Arjuna, in fact, the Kauravas wanted Arjuna to kill Jayadratha. That's why they sent that news to him. Why? Because if he's killed by Arjuna, then Arjuna will have to die. That's a curse. And that's the boon he gets. So what Krishna tells Arjuna, as you fire his head, don't throw it on the ground, throw it on the lap of his father, who's meditating in those mountains. And Arjuna did exactly that. Jayadratha was killed, his father was also killed. So Arjuna is telling, is it possible for me to handle situations like this in my life? Impossible. There's no way that I would have sustained this. It is just because of his causeless mercy and presence that I was able to go through this. So Arjuna is demonstrating his gratitude. He's paying his tributes to Krishna. And that's what is explained there. And many of the short stories are explained. You can read through. Okay, so now let's go to a few more slokas, which is on the same platform, but we will not spend too much time. Sloka 17. It was by his mercy only that my enemies neglected to kill me when I descended from my chariot to get water for my thirsty horses. It was due to lack of esteem for my Lord that I dared engage him as my chariot driver. For he is worshipped and offered services by the best of them to attain salvation. So there are two aspects. I'll talk the second aspect. The second aspect is throughout the world, people are getting up early in the morning and they're offering prayers, all oblations, and everything for the pleasure of the Lord. They're seeking salvation, they're begging and begging. But such a Lord, I was able to engage him as my chariot driver, like my servant. How is it possible? Look at the mercy of the Lord. So he's expressing his deepest grief and gratitude to Krishna. This is all signs of devotion. About the thirsty horses, actually what is this is, I don't know how many of you know these stories. So in Kurukshetra is actually a war field, battlefield. If you look at it, the center of the Kurukshetra is full of, land, flat land. And all the borders of Kurukshetra are surrounded by mountains, right? Or hillocks. So you see, there is no question of water availability in anywhere near Kurukshetra. Now these horses, when they run throughout the day, they get tired, they need water. Human beings need water. Where will they go for water? So what Krishna does? Krishna does the same thing what we do as borewell today. Actually, in fact, the concept of borewell came from the knowledge of Krishna. At least today, borewell, what we do, we drill like 400, 500, 1,000, 2,000 feet to get that water. But when Krishna told Arjuna, fire this arrow here on the ground, he used to just put the arrow on even on the surface, the water would just come like a fountain. Like that, Krishna made such things possible which are impossible to even dream of. That's what happened in the war of Kurukshetra. And hence, Arjuna is telling, see, what was impossible, Krishna made it possible. So this highlight is talking about that pastime only. Scarcity of water. So he's recollecting. Okay, that's the story here. Okay. Now, the next sloka, 18, he's telling, O king, his jokings and frank talks were pleasing and beautifully decorated with smiles. His addresses on to me as son of Pritha, O friend, O son of Kuru dynasty, and all such heartiness are now remembered by me, and thus I am overwhelmed. See, look at it. Krishna, because even though Arjuna, maybe, from a spiritual angle, he's part and parcel. He's very infinitesimal. From a relationship perspective, he is his own cousin, but Arjuna is like a little bit younger to Krishna. Okay? So in all aspects, you see, as a friend, Arjuna behaved with Krishna. But even at that time, as a friend, on equals, Krishna never, never engaged in a disrespectful discussion with Arjuna. Always he had respect. No situation of, making cheap comments, nothing. He always called him in a gloried saluations. Like, look at him. He addresses, O son of Pritha. Right? So that tells you are son of a glorified king. And you are also gloried. He says, O son of Kuru dynasty. Kuru dynasty was known to be the dynasty which ruled the entire kingdom, the entire world. So you're coming from the dynasty means you are not ordinary person. So even to casually call Arjuna, Krishna called him or dealt with him with great respect. So Arjuna is recalling who do these things, right? See, from Bhagavatam, we learn these things. We learn how do we deal with others in a very friendly, respectful manner, whoever it may be. Always appreciate and glorify others. This is what Bhagavatam teaches, and that's what Krishna is teaching to Arjuna, how to behave. Okay? The next sloka, if you look at the translation. Generally, both of us used to live together and sleep, sit and loiter together. At the time of advertising oneself for acts of chivalry, sometimes, if there were any irregularity, I used to reproach him by saying, My friend, you are very truthful. Even in those hours when his value was minimized, he, being the Supreme Soul, used to tolerate all those utterings of mine, excusing me exactly as a true friend excuses his true friend, or a father excuses his son. So Arjuna is talking about this very intimate relationship. You know the pastime, right? When Naradaji entered Dwarka to take darshan of the Lord, Rukmani Mata is telling the Naradaji, oh, no, don't disturb now. He is sleeping, so you wait, or you come back later. Narada says, if you please accept, I want to see my Lord in Yoga Nidra form. I want to see him how he's sleeping. Can I take his darshan in that form? Then Rukmani, understanding the consciousness of Naradaji, what does he say? Okay, enter, but no disturbance, no sound. Slowly enter, take darshan and come out. When Naradaji entered the palace, what did he see? He saw Krishna and Arjuna sleeping on the same bed. In fact, it goes on saying that Arjuna's legs were on Krishna. And Krishna was in deep sleep. And even in deep sleep, both were uttering the names of each other in a very slow, pleasant format. And that's the deep devotion that both exchanged. So Arjuna is recalling all these past instances. And he's telling what a great loss I've gone through. Okay, let's go to the next sloka. This is a very important point that we want to read. 15.20. Soham nripendra rahita purushottamena sakya priyena suharda hridayena shunyah advani urikrama parigramam angarakshan gopair ashabdir abaleva vinirjitosmi. Translation. O Emperor, now I am separated from my friend and dearmost well-wisher. Arjuna is telling Yudhishthira, the Supreme Person Godhead. And therefore my heart appears to be void of everything. Shunyaitam jagat sharvam. Cowherd men while I was guarding the bodies of the wives of Krishna. This is a beautiful pastime that actually happened. Right? So when Lord left, there were many associates that descended with the Lord. And Nityasiddhas from the spiritual planets. But apart from that, many devatas, they also descended and took forms in order to play the Leela with the Lord. So this is what the reality is. And that's how you see a large number of people in the Yadu community. Okay, so it is a combination of Nityasiddhas descended from Goloka and combination of devatas who descended from Swargaloka along to play the pastime with the Lord. It's a fact. Now when Lord left back, returned back, right, what he did, he told all personalities who came from Goloka Vrindavan can return with me. They returned. All personalities who belong to Dwarakadam, I'm talking about Dwarakadam, the spiritual world, they lived back in Dwarakadam and performed their devotion and ended their life. And at the end of their life, they went back to Dwarakadam in the spiritual world, and that ended the journey. But all the devatas who came to perform the Leela of the Lord, they were a combination of the wives of Krishna, they were a combination of the Yadus, the descendants. All these people, they had to be sent back to Swargaloka. So Lord planned the pastime of the fight, that they will fight each other and kill each other. But it's just an artificial thing that was made. But eventually they will go back to Swargaloka as devatas to run their duties. So what the Lord told, he told Arjuna, take these people and deliver them in Prabhashetra. So Arjuna is driving his chariot along with these people on the way to Prabhashetra. What happened? That's the story here. Okay. So I want someone to both read the yellow and the green. Can someone come forward?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. The important point in this verse
is how it was possible that Arjuna could be defeated by a gang of ignoble, cowherd men, and how such mundane, cowherd men could touch the bodies of the wives of Lord Krishna, who were under the protection of Arjuna. Srila Visva
Nata Chakravarti Thakura.
Chakravarti Thakura has justified the contradiction by the research in the Vishnu Purana and the Brahma Purana. In these Puranas, it is said that once the fair denizens of heaven pleased Astavagra Muni by their service and were blessed by the Muni to have Supreme Lord as their husband. Astavagra Muni was curved in 8 joints of his body, and thus he used to move in a peculiar curved manner. The daughter of the demigod could not check their laughter upon seeing the movements of the Muni. And the Muni, being angered at them, cursed them that they would be kidnapped by rogues, even if they would get the Lord as their husband later on. The girls
No,
again satisfied
our husband is full stop, then later on.
later on. Later on, the girls again satisfied the Muni by their prayers, and the Muni blessed them that they would regain their husband even after being robbed by rogues. Can I continue, Prabhu?
Read the green.
Yeah. So in order to keep the words of the great Muni, the Lord himself kidnapped his wives from the protection of Arjuna. Otherwise, they would have at once vanished from the scene as soon as they were touched by the rogues. Besides that, some of the gopis were prayed to become wives of Lord, returned to their respective positions after their desire was fulfilled. After the departure of Lord Krishna, he wanted all his entourage back to the Godhead, and they were called back under different conditions only. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, so this is the reason you can see. We saw Vaishnava offense, right? Now, when a rishi is being sarcastically being laughed at, he immediately cursed that you become like this. So we have to be very careful while we deal with exalted Vaishnavas. We cannot be callous in nature. We cannot be sarcastic in nature. We have to be to the point. We may agree or disagree. That's a different matter. If we agree, we follow. If we disagree, no problem. We move on. Become disrespectful in our dealing with others. That's the point here. Okay. So these gopis, while they were being carried by Arjuna to Prabhashetra, they were kidnapped by Krishna himself. But again, Krishna only made that arrangement so that these personalities were protected. Right. So that's the explanation here. Now then let's read the next sloka 21. Tavai dhanusta ishavaha sarato hayaste soham rati nitpatayo yata anamanti sharvam shanena tat adbut ashad ishakritam vashmanhutam kuhakaradam ivoktamushyam. Now we'll see this explanation. Translation. I have very same Gandiva bow. Who's telling? Arjuna is telling. The same arrows, the same chariot, drawn by the same horses. And I use them as the same Arjuna, to whom all the kings offered the due respect. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them at that moment's notice. Which moment notice? When the cowherd men came to abduct the queens, right, at that moment, have become null and void. All his powers became null and void. His Gandiva, his chariot, everything became null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on the ashes, accumulating money with magic wand, or sowing seeds on a barren land. Right? Someone read the purport. We'll understand this purport deeper. Okay? Can someone read the purport? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, please read.
As we have discussed more than once, one should not be puffed up by borrowed plumes. All energies and powers are driven from the supreme source. Lord Krishna, and they act as long he desires and eases to function,
Cease to function.
is to function
Cease means
as soon,
stop. Okay.
yeah, is to function as soon as he withdraws. All electrical energies are received from the powerhouse, and as soon as the powerhouse stops applying energy, the bulbs are no use. And in moments time, such energies can be generated or withdrawn by the supreme will of the Lord. The material civilization without the blessing of the Lord, it's child play only. As long as the parents allow the child to play, it's all right. As soon as the parents withdraw, the child has to stop. Human civilization and all activities thereof must be dovetailed in the supreme blessing of the Lord. And with these blessings, all the advancement of human civilization is like decoration on a dead body. It is said that dead civilization and its activities are something like clarified butter on the ashes, and the accumulation of money by a magic wand and of sowing of seeds in a barren land.
Okay.
Hare
So
Krishna,
you see, wonderful meaning is been impregnated here. The situation is now Arjuna is telling, someone got a chat. Prabhuji,
Yes, Prabhuji.
okay, so Prabhu, we will discuss this your question at the end of the class, because this is a little bit deviated question. So when we end the Bhagavatam class at 7, you please raise this question. I'll give you answer for this. Okay. Okay. So let's go to the part. Now the point is this. The first point, what is Arjuna acknowledging? Even though I had the same Gandiva bow, it was useless. Why? Because the Lord has, once he left the planet, he took away all the extra powers that he gave me. That means those powers were given to me for a specific purpose, for the plan of the Lord. Once the plan was completed, Yudhishthir was put back into throne. Why? Because he wanted dharma. Yudhishthir was personified dharma. He wanted yada yada hi dharmasya. That means he wants to reinstate dharma. He put Yudhishthir back onto the throne. And he said, the job is complete. Arjuna, you don't need those extra powers now. Now, once those powers are withdrawn from him, you see Arjuna could not even defeat these cowherd boys. So similarly, Prabhupada is trying to tell us that one may go after accumulating money. One may have to go after accumulating too much of material knowledge. One may go after accumulating many, many opulences that he wants. But what is the use if they are not dovetailed or used in service of the Lord? They are just a waste. Right? Everything in this creation is energy of the Lord. He is the source of the energy. You derive energy from him and you use the energy for a particular purpose. But if that purpose does not serve the ultimate, then what's the use of that activity? That's what Prabhupada is trying to conclude here. So, starting from our body is, again, you see, is just a powerhouse of energy. That's why we are able to eat something and then do so many activities. We are able to lift objects, run, do speech, do everything. Right? That means so much of energy is given to us. So much of energy, material energy is being created in this world in the form of stones, in the form of metals, in the form of chemicals, in the form of plants, so many things. And these are all now being misused by human civilization for their own gratification. And he says this is called misdirected civilization. But actual purpose is they should be used in purpose to serve the source. And why is that people don't do it? Because of lack of knowledge. Lack of realized knowledge being present in their heart, or lack of direction that's being present in their heart. So, hence Prabhupada concludes what? There are all these advancement in civilization. I'll construct bridges, I'll construct buildings, I will make, defense warfare. There's so many things have been done in this material advancement technology. They are like decorating the dead body. What is the meaning of decorating the dead body? Okay. So, for example, someone has died. How much ever you decorate the dead body, you will never see attraction, beauty in it. Why? Because the body, there's no life in it. Right? So that means we may do many, many material activities, but it's of no use because they are not used in service of the Lord. That's what Prabhupada is trying to tell you. So, wasteful energy, extravagant. So we cannot, waste energy of the Lord in an improper manner. That's the point to conclude here. Okay?
Prabhuji, what is the meaning of dovetail here in the context?
Dovetail means to connect.
Okay.
To connect or to make it dependent on something like that. To link it like that it is.
Okay.
So, for example, your children are dovetail to you. So, what does that mean? It is not that they're physically connected to you. It means that they depend on you, or they connected with you to perform their life and activities. That's what it means.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay, let's go to the next sloka, 22, 23. So this is a very important sloka. Let's try to read 2-3 times, and so that we can memorize this sloka. You can use this for preaching. So in preaching, how you can use this? You can say that we become useless in life if we lose our connection to the Lord, first. Second, use all our energy in service of the Lord. Third, use our intelligence, opulence, everything in remembering the Lord and to please the Lord. So Vishnu Sahasranama, last sloka also, what does it say? What does Vishnu Sahasranama last sloka say? Kayena vacha, manasendriyerva, buddhi, atmano, anushmara svabhava. So if you don't use in remembrance of this Lord, what? All your activities with your hands, with your mouth, with your body, with your thought, mind, everything. In remembrance of the Lord, that is the conclusion. Okay, now let's read this sloka 21 to remember it once again. Tadvai dhanusta ishava sarato hayaste soham rati nirpatayo yata anamanti Sharvam shanena tat adbut asat ishakriktam bashman hutam kuhaka radam ivoptam ushyam. Okay, so can someone try?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Tadvai dhanusta ishvahasa rato hayaste soham rati nrupatayo yata anamanti sarvam kshanena tat abud asat isaruttam basman hutam kuhaka radham ivoptam ushyam. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna, okay. 2 more people can try.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams, text 15.21. Tadvai dhanusta ishavaha sarato hayaste soham rati nrupatayo yata anamanti sarvam kshanena tad abhud asad ishariktam bhasman hutam kuhakaradham yoptam ushyam. Thank you. Next.
Yeah. One more.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Tadvai dhanusta ishvaha sarato hayaste soham rati nrpatayo yata anamanti sarvam ksha nena tad abud asad isha riktam basmanutam kuhaka radham ivoktam ushayam. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. So you can try to memorize that sloka, and then that tells how important for us to practice the yoga practice to connect to the Lord, right? So as far as we are in the shelter of the Lord, our life is meaningful. Once we come out of the shelter of the Lord, we adjust into the external energy of the Lord and we are of our own, which is dangerous. Okay. 22, 23. So in 22, 23 is, yeah. So, O King, since you have asked me about your friends and relatives in the city of Dwarka, he's talking about all the Yadus. Okay. I inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmanas, and as a result, they all became intoxicated with wine made of petrified rice and fought among themselves with sticks, not even recognizing one another. Now, all but 4 or 5 of them are dead and gone. Right? Now, you see, the first realization out of this sloka is that you should get is why Prabhupada said do not have intoxication. That's the reason, right? When you're intoxicated, you lose your mind and you may do any abominable acts. And that will lead to series of karmic reactions. So hence Prabhupada said, refrain from intoxication. Now look at this intoxication. The entire community got erased, right? Now, this is the completion of the end of the Yadu community, but exception to Uddhava. Uddhava alone was allowed to stay back because he was given a mission in Badrikashrama. But except to Uddhava, the entire Yadu race was completely destroyed. So why? So there are many reasons to understand this, right? The first reason you can understand is many Yadus became puffed up. They became proud that, we are part of this Yadu dynasty where the Supreme Personality Godhead himself manifested. So they became puffed up. And Krishna said, anyone who's puffed up because of such a reason is dangerous. So it's not a good idea. So hence, he took the decision to erase the Hindu community. Okay, so the first reason is pride. We talked about pride as a problem in many classes, right? Once again, it is coming up now. So you should see pride that I am the doer is very dangerous. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. It is Prakriti, by the arrangement of the Lord, is inundating us with the 3 modes of material nature, and by which it is controlling the living entity, his moods, his actions, all other things. But we think that I am the doer. So, even though we are not the doer, but we are at least into the illusion that I am the doer, and hence the pride. So, we should be fully knowledgeable of this. When our pride increases, get it out of us. If you don't get it out of us, you will see some devotee or some situation by the arrangement of the Lord will make us humble. That is the point here. Okay? So pride is dangerous. We always work on it to get it off in our life. Okay. It is not that we cannot have pride. We will get pride because that's the nature of the material nature. So, but we should be cognizant of that fact. Okay? So first is pride. The second, Krishna did not want the lineage of the Yadus to continue after he left. Why? Because they would form many, groups. I would say, okay, I am so-and-so like this, and then they will form communities, and then they will perform, false gurus. And they may do many abominable activities in the name of Krishna, not in the immediate lineage, but over a period of time, the second level, third level, or fourth level may misuse Krishna's name. So that's why Prabhupada says that even Chaitanya Prabhu, even though he had 2 wives, he married twice, he took sannyasi and never had children because he did not want anyone to come back and say, oh, okay, Lord belongs to me. And same thing with Jagannath Puri also. Even in Puri, Krishna and Jagannath doesn't have any children because Indradumna Maharaj was very clear that no one should claim that this Puri temple belongs to me. So we don't have any lineage at all. It should be for the common welfare of the all living entities, but no one should claim ownership. Right? If you claim ownership, many small cults will come and they will do many abominable acts. So Krishna is very clear. Right? So that's a second reason. Third reason is creation, maintenance, destruction. Right? So Krishna bought these siddhis, right, to perform the pastime. The Leela was performed, all activities and purposes accomplished. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Right? The nourishment to the sadhus were done. Once these are all done, Krishna said, clean up the system. So he cleaned up the system and went back. Now, in the process, what he did, he left two things. One, he gave the great knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to people, that people can use this knowledge and perfect their life. And second, many great devotees who were hankering for that Lord, who were always in separation of the Lord. Oh Lord, what is in this life? I can't see you after so much of devotion. I can't experience you, nothing. So to nourish their hearts, Krishna performed all the Leelas. So this is the two things that Krishna left. Bhagavad Gita is knowledge and Srimad Bhagavatam to nourish our hearts. Right? The rest, Krishna took it away because people should not misuse. And that's what is the entire pastime all about. Right? So he made this arrangement so that the Yadus would fight among themselves and kill each other, and no traces of Yadus at the end of the life. Right? So that's the translation that we understand out of this. Okay. So let's go to the next sloka, 24. Okay. So 24. Prayenaitat bhagavata ईश्वरस्य विचेस्थितं mito nignanti bhutani bhavyanti chayan mitaha. Factually, this is all due to the supreme will of the Lord, that personality of Godhead. Sometimes people kill one another, and other times they protect one another. Right? So this is very, very beautiful. Look at this word. I want to read here word to word meaning. Prayena etat. It is almost by Bhagavataha, the supreme personality of Godhead, Ishwarasya of the Lord, which is sthitam, by the will. What is the will of the Lord? What is the will of the supreme personality of the Lord? That's what you understand. First, mitaha, on one another, nignanti, do kill. Second, bhutani, the living beings, bhavayanti, as also protect. Right? So you see, when the Lord wants, he will protect. When the Lord does not want it, what he will do? He will kill by, making foes among one another and end the chapter. So you can experience this in the same pastimes that we talked about. He brought all the Yadus, the gopis, and everyone to perform those things because Lord wanted them to be together and perform those activities. Once things were over, the Lord fought among themselves and ensured that he cleaned up the system. Right? So, what do we understand out of this is very simple. Whenever the Lord wants, he will protect. Whenever the Lord does not want, he will not protect us. So, it is important as devotees, we have to understand the variegatedness of this material nature or the variegatedness of situations of life. So, it is always good to be under protection of the Lord and always accept the things that have happened in our life as mercy of the Lord. This is important to understand. It is not that only favorable situations are mercy of the Lord and unfavorable situations not, but no, that is also mercy of the Lord. Favorable situations in our life is also mercy of the Lord. Unfavorable situation also is mercy of the Lord because the Lord has got a greater plan. That's what you have to understand. That's the take-home message out of this sloka. Okay? So, dovetail everything in your life to the Lord, and whatever happens after dovetailing, accept it as Mahaprasad of the Lord. Great devotees are tolerant. Matra sparshastha kaunteya sitoshna shuka dukkadaha. They are always tolerant about the positives and negatives in life. It is not that, okay, positive things happen, I'm in jubilation. But when negative things happen, I immediately curse. I immediately find fault. And I immediately stop my devotion with the Lord. No, look at the bigger picture. We are very, very insignificant. Look at the bigger picture of the plan of the Lord. Then you will accept everything happened for the plan of the Lord. Right? Your duty is to see, is your consciousness evolving to accept these things? Is your consciousness maturing towards more and more to the surrender process of the Lord? And that is devotion. That is the only fact you have to see. Okay? Let's read it. 25, 26. Jalaukasham jale yadvan mahanto adanti anishya durbalan balino rajan mahanto balino mitaha evam balistair yadubir mahadbir itaran vibuhu yadun yadubir anyonyam pubaran sanjaharaha. O kin, as in the ocean the bigger and stronger aquatics swallow up the smaller and weaker ones, so also the Supreme Personality Godhead, to lighten the burden of that, has engaged the stronger Yadu to kill the weaker and the bigger Yadu to kill the smaller. Right? So this is the nature at which this world is created. The stronger animals, like tiger, right? For them the prey is the deer, the weaker. So always the stronger will attack the weaker. This is the nature of this material world. And you have to accept this. Right? So we use the word predators in English. Right? So for you to become stronger, it does not mean you go to the gym or you make weapons and things like that. Or it is not that you create strong humans as network of people to protect you. That's not what it is, because nature is ultimate. Nature can break any of our plans and ideas and activities. So that is not the right solution. The right solution is to take the shelter of the providence. Shelter of the providence means always take shelter of the Lord. When we take shelter of the Lord, we get the best protection. And Prabhupada says, moment someone starts to begin practice devotion service, he comes under the protection of the Lord. So we should always spend our life and time in seeking protection of the Lord by practicing devotional services. And that is the whole point in doing this. So, an event like this, the predator or the prey, one attacking another and killing, is the nature of this world. And hence Prabhupada says, this place is not a place for gentlemen. Your business is to go back home, back to Godhead, and do your activities accordingly. There's no other activity that you need to do here. There's nothing that you need to, achieve in this world. The only achievement in this world is to practice devotion, go back home, back to Godhead. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. In this material world, the struggle for existence and survival of fittest are the laws. So do not get bewildered about all these magnificent things that are happening in the material world. Go back to your duty. What is your duty? Your duty is to end the journey of this human cycle of birth and death in this world. That is your duty. Don't get into anything else. That's what Prabhupada is trying to tell us here. Let's read the next sloka. This is going to be the conclusion sloka for the day, but we're going to spend a lot of time here. Very important to really internalize this sloka. Okay? 15.27. Desha kalartha yuktani hrit tapo pashamnani tapo pashamani cha haranti smaratas chittam govinda bihitani me. Let's read the word-to-word translation of this sloka. Desha is space. Kala, time. Artha, importance. Yuktani, impregnated with. Hrit, the heart. Tapa, burning. Upashamani, extinguishing. Cha, and. Haranti, are attracting. Smarataha, by remembering. Chittam, mind. Govinda, the Supreme Person Godhead. Abhihitani, narrated by, unto me. So let's read the sloka translation. Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead. Now what is Arjuna remembering? The Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita in the form of instruction is remembering what Lord told at every point in time. Personality got Govinda because they are impregnated with instruction for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. Krishna gave Arjuna these instructions of Bhagavad Gita. What does it do? It relieves the burning heart of all circumstances of time and space. That is the glory of Bhagavad Gita. By taking shelter of Bhagavad Gita, one can come out of all the miseries of life. Very important to understand this. Okay. So before reading the purport, I want to take you to 3 slokas. Yeah, let's see if I can. I'll just load these slokas, wait. Yeah. Okay, I've loaded these 2 slokas. Now see this. You know these slokas, but we will read this again. So, Mahabharata war, the battlefield. Arjuna told Krishna that after seeing the army on both sides, I'm crippled in my consciousness. I don't want this war. I'm feeling very weak. I'm feeling miserly in my heart. Not able to think, not able to use my intelligence in overcoming the current situation. This is exactly the situation for each one of us in our day-to-day life. And what did Arjuna do? He took shelter of Krishna. And Krishna began the Gita Upadesh. Okay, that is the sloka, right? So let's read the sloka just for us to recollect what happened at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prachami tvam dharma shamuda chetaha yachreya shan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham sadhi mam tvam prapannam. What did he say? Now I'm confused about my duty. Look at this. He's confused about his duty now. He's not talking about his ambition or his passionate things. He's confused about his duty. What should I do? What should I not do? And have lost all composure. Composure is balance of mind, balance of thoughts. I've lost everything because of my miserly weakness. What is miserly weakness here? I'm unable to use my intelligence to overcome these 2 difficulties, and I'm feeling very miserly, like a kripana. I'm feeling very weak. Weak means no strength. Perform anything, not able to think. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Please guide me, Krishna. There's no other hope for me. You please guide me. This is our situation every day when we get up in the morning, when we go to the altar, in front of the altar, or when we begin our chanting. Oh, Krishna, I don't know what to do. Please guide me. Whatever is best for me, you do. Now, what is best for me is time, place, circumstances. What is best for your friend may be something else for you. And what is best for you may be something else for someone else. And who knows this? The Lord knows this the best. Hence, what Krishna says, now I'm your disciple. He says, I'm your disciple because if I am not your disciple, I will not accept your instruction. We will think, Arjuna and Krishna, we are all both are equals. Why should I hear from you? If I don't surrender to you, I cannot accept your instruction. So hence, he says, I'm your disciple. And the soul surrendered unto you, please instruct me. So he is demonstrating 2 factors that I'm fully surrendered, I'm your disciple, I'm in this bad situation, please help me. He's demonstrating mood, he's also telling Krishna that I'm surrendered unto you. Please help me. Now, what did Krishna do? He spoke the entire Bhagavad Gita. Right? The real Bhagavad Gita preaching from Krishna starts after this sloka, 2.8. Krishna speaks only now. Okay, then he spoke the entire Bhagavad Gita. He spoke from chapter 2.8 all the way to 18th chapter. In the 18th chapter, when Krishna completed by saying Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mam ye vaishashi satyam te pratijane priyoshime. Then you see Arjuna is now telling. What is he telling? In 73, Arjuna Vacha. Nasto moha smritir labdha tat prasadam mayachyuta Stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. He said karishye vachanam tava. What is karishye vachanam tava? You order me, I'll execute. Look at the translation. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one. Now here, very infallible one is very important. Why? Because Krishna, he is someone who's never fallen down. That means he's never fallen down from a status of full potency of Satchit Ananda. That means his instruction, his knowledge is perfect. It is absolute. There is something cannot be greater than this. That's why he uses the word infallible here. Then he says, because of you, my illusion is now gone. Now you see, in chapter 2.7, he said, I'm confused. My duty, lost all composure, a miserly weakness. That was his case. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken for just 40 minutes. 40 minutes before he told the statement. 40 minutes later, now what is he saying? My illusion is now gone. I'm very clear. Then he says, he lost his composure there. Now what he says? I've regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I'm prepared to act according to your instruction. So you see, this is the benefit of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita can transform the most fallen, confused, no hope situation to completely perfect. One saying, yes, I know what do I need to do, my duty. So we shall take shelter of Bhagavad Gita in our day-to-day life at all times. There is nothing greater than this in our life. And Krishna has offered this. And Arjuna is the primary example for us to say what happened at the starting of Bhagavad Gita and what's happening to the end of Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna is now acknowledging this. He is now telling Yudhishthira, this is what happened to me. So let's go back to the Bhagavatam sloka. And hence Arjuna is confirming this. Can someone read the highlight here?
Hare Krishna. Herein Arjuna refers to the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, which was imparted to him by the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Lord left behind him the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita not for the benefit of Arjuna alone, but also for all time and in all lands. The Bhagavad Gita, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, is the essence of all Vedic wisdom. It is nicely presented by the Lord himself for all who have very little time to go through the vast Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Vedanta Sutras. It is put within the study of the great historical epic Mahabharata, which was especially prepared for the
less intelligent class, namely the women, laborers, and those who are worthless descendants of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, and higher sections of Vaishyas. So, Bhagavad Gita is not for only Arjuna, it's for all classes of men and women. Okay? That is the most important point to conclude. Can someone read the other yellow part? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, please read.
The merciful Lord left behind him the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita so that one can take the instructions of the Lord even when he is not visible to material eyesight. Material senses cannot have any estimation of the Supreme Lord, but by his inconceivable power of Lord can incarnate himself to the sense perception of the conditioned souls in a suitable manner through the agency of matter, which is also another form of the Lord's manifested energy. Thus, the Bhagavad Gita, or any authentic scriptural sound representation of the Lord, is also the incarnation of the Lord. There is no difference between the sound representation of the Lord and the Lord himself. One can derive the same benefit from the Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna did in the personal presence of
The Lord. Very, very important. Krishna has left the world, but he has left his great scriptural knowledge and instruction in the form of Bhagavad Gita and in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. He has left religiosity with us. So what we need to do, these are the only two ingredients for us in our life. There is no other hope beyond it. If you take knowledge as such, it is so vast. Vedanta Sutras are so deep. The Vedas are so deep. The Upanishads are so deep. How many Puranas are there to read? The depth of the Puranas. How much you want to read and spend time in? Not possible. So hence Krishna says, just take the shelter of Bhagavad Gita, take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Your life is done in this life. Every day, we should make this as a point in our life to read and practice. And nothing else should be part of our life. What happens? By reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, we get shelter of the Lord. We get instruction, we get shelter of the Lord, by which we get what is called as practice of devotion. Now, two important points I want to make it very clear here. First is, reading the books, you acquire knowledge. Yes, great knowledge. I know what to do, I know what to speak, everything is fine. But the second is application of the knowledge. When the application of knowledge is Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. So, okay, he says importance of bhakti in our life. Then I need to practice bhakti. Yes, I will chant nicely. I'll perform whatever the angas of bhakti I'll practice. Yes, I will have to do that. But when we don't translate knowledge into practice, then we don't transition from jnana yoga to bhakti yoga. We remain in jnana state. But what's the use of knowledge when it's not put to use? So, one is theory, one is application. Bhakti yoga is application, practice of devotion, and demonstrating devotion to the Supreme Lord Krishna in our life. So that is bhakti yoga. Jnana is acquisition of knowledge, but acquisition of knowledge will help us to perform bhakti yoga very perfectly. So both are required. So we acquire knowledge, we practice. We acquire knowledge, we practice. By continuously doing this one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, we get fully seasoned in our Vedic bhakti. Slowly, by this practice and our enthusiasm, knowledge, Krishna opens the heart. What happens? When he opens the heart, you will get realized knowledge. So from theoretical knowledge, by practicing bhakti, you get realized knowledge. What is realized knowledge? You will see change of character of a person. You see change of the way he talks, the change of way his desires, his activities, his anxiety, everything you can see. That is a realized person. So, life goal is to become realized and not to remain artificial in the platform of acquiring knowledge and artificially practicing bhakti. No, it should be on the realized platform. And that's what Arjuna is trying to tell you. So he's recollecting how Krishna transformed me in my life, right? Sense of duty is very important. What is sense of duty is very important. Sometimes we may get into a situation where a bad thing happened. We may get disturbed. But if the sense of duty is there, after 1 hour, after 1 day, after 1 week, we may come out of it and come back to the duty. So Krishna is stressing upon, are you duty bound? As sadhakas, what is our duty? Is to perform good sadhana and good devotion. That's our duty. Are you performing that? So Krishna is trying to tell that. You may say, Prabhu, I had a fever, I had headache, I could not do this. 1 day is over, 2 days over. No, next what? Are you duty bound? Come back. That's what happened. When Abhimanyu died, Arjuna cried. He demonstrated compassion. He demonstrated his fatherly love for Abhimanyu. Next minute, he took his Gandiva, back his duty. Because duty bound is the sense of duty bound is what Krishna taught Arjuna. The same thing Krishna is teaching us. Situations will come and go, but that's it. Are you back to your duty? Are you practicing this in your normal course of life? That is the point here. So if we are like this, then we will see we'll be regular in our practices. We'll be regular in our classes, regular in our programs, regular in our festival, regular in our services, regular in our preaching. Whatever we do will be very regular. That is the point here. We do not deviate and slowly get degraded. We'll never happen to that. That is the goal of life. Okay? So, whatever inertia we have, inertia means resistance to perform bhakti should go away, and bhakti should become spontaneous over a period of time. And that's what we learn out of all these scriptural evidences and the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? So, hence this sloka, 15.27, is a phenomenal sloka where Arjuna is recollecting Bhagavad Gita. And what you should do? We all should recollect the various instructions of Bhagavad Gita at various points in time in our life. It will come. You remember this instruction. Yes, this is what Lord told. Let me apply. Let me change. And that is what is going to make us more and more perfect in our life. Okay? Grihastha ashrama is a great time for us to acquire knowledge and do other many things that will get us prepared, fully prepared, yes. But Vanaprastha ashram, you will see you can execute devotion to the deepest extent. So, in the Vanaprastha ashrama age, do not perform grihastha activities. And it's not good for us. Right? So, these ashramas are created very, very wonderfully. Make the perfect time, perfect activities, and go back home, back to Godhead in this very life. Okay? So, we will end the class here and we will take any questions that we have in this class. Okay. Hare Krishna. Lot of silence today.
A very deep subject, Prabhu. Very nice. We have to apply it practically now, whatever you told.
Yes. If we have to keep thinking, we have to keep training our mind. What do we do? What do we not do? We have to do that. Yes. So that's why, introspection is very important in spiritual life. You have to keep introspecting. What's happening to me? Am I right or am I wrong? Am I deviating? Am I on that path? The more you introspect, the more you will become closer to practice of bhakti in a nice manner. We don't care about all these things. Then you see time goes, then your life is something else. At the end of your life, let's say someone lives for 75 years. At the end of 75 years, you see the death date for all of us is fixed. There's no doubt about it. But how your journey to the death date is important. 75 years will come. But at the end of 70 years, your death date is there. Then at the time we are gasping, oh, I should have done that, I should have done this. Then it is crying out the spilt milk. Gone, opportunity gone. So please don't miss the opportunity. That's my humble request.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Have you recorded this, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, this is recorded.
Yeah, because I joined late. So the earlier part I would like to listen, that's why.
Yes, Mataji, it is recorded. It's on YouTube. Link will be published at the end of the class. You can hear it, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, in this conversation between Yudhishthira and Arjuna, and I could see that actually gratitude to the Lord is also highlighted very much, Prabhu. This is so significant, it plays the role in our life. Right?
Yes. Expression of gratitude by us on to the Lord must be every moment of our life. It's not about, okay, I once expressed a thank you. It's not. No, every moment, you should express our gratitude to the Lord for what we are and what we are going to be. That's very important. It's actually one of the best practice of devotion. In fact, Arjuna recollecting all these things is actually paying of gratitude.
Yeah.
So hence, please let's take down this exercise to all of you. Do not miss this exercise. I want everyone to participate. In fact, I'm also going to do this along with you. It's very simple. What we shall do is we'll take a pen and paper and we're going to write down only 10 bullets. Okay. We're going to write down what are all the great events that happen in our life because of the mercy of the Lord, and how we were able to be successful and how we overcome our difficulties. And we want to express our gratitude to that Lord who has made us what we are today. Right? It could be a combination of material, it could be a combination of spiritual. Okay? So I want each one of you to take a pen and paper, spend some time, do not do an urgency, take about 30 minutes of time and do this activity and try to publish in our respective groups whatever you wrote. Okay? If you feel that some things are very personal, Prabhu, I cannot share it like that, you can share it to me directly. If you still feel personal, no problem, I can't even share it to you, no problem. You at least write it and offer to the Lord in your altar and say, this is what I did in my life. This is my gratitude to you. And I want all of you to do this exercise. Okay? Will you all do this exercise?
Sure, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So this is the way you develop your devotion for your lovable Lord. Okay? So let's do this. And the timeline for doing this is also very simple. Today is Saturday, that is 14th. 15th and 16th. That means today, tomorrow, you may be busy for some spiritual activities, preaching, things like that. So I'm going to give one more day because we don't want to delay this too much. Maximum by Monday, end of day, by 6 p.m., you should have written this page document with 10 bullets. Only 10 bullets. You may have more, but confine it to 10 bullets. Okay? You can start this from the day of your birth, no problem, until today.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay?
Hare
So,
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much for caring and concerning Prabhuji. మీరు ఇదే మాట ఇంకో లాస్ట్ 2 years 3 years బ్యాక్ అనుకుంటాను చెప్పింట్రే. సో ఐ హావ్ రోట్ ద పిల్లోడ్ పేరు ఇవన్నీ రాసేసి దేవుని దగ్గర పెడితే ప్రభు. సో థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Any other questions from today's class?
Yes, sir. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Dhanesh Pranam, Mataji.
Jagannathan. I had a doubt about this Bangladesh event.
Okay.
Always it was worrying me. Why they are also in the ISKCON, Bangladesh ISKCON was destroyed and the Prabhus were killed. And now the chief is arrested. Why all these things is happening? Hare Krishna.
Okay, I will not go deep into this answer, even though the answers are deeper. But
No. I
surface.
just understood today. God wanted this way to happen.
See, Mataji, the devastation happened even in Satyuga, in Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga. Difficulties happen to devotees even in Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. It is not that difficulties never happen. Difficulties can happen anytime. That is the nature of this material world. It is Dukkalayam, it is Ashashvatam. There is no escape.
In this birth,
My point is that now people in India may have a favorable time in practice of bhakti. Use it up. We don't know when unfavorable situation will happen.
correct.
So whenever is favorable to you, every minute is favorable to you, use practice of bhakti as much as possible. In fact, my Guru Maharaj tells this. We don't know what will happen. So as much as possible, give your life for Prabhupada. Give your life for the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like that he will say.
Okay, Prabhuji. These verses, I was able to make out some clear this thing, understanding.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Shiv Prasad Prabhu, you had a question, so you want to discuss that question? Hare Krishna, are you there, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you want to discuss the question?
After this Mahabharata, Lord went back to Golaka and his associates. So you mean to say that when he appeared here, so return means he was not there, right? Something like that? What way I can understand?
He means you are referring to the Lord?
Yeah. Lord and his associates returned to Golaka, Vaikuntha, you mentioned.
Correct. Yeah.
So return means they were not there?
Physically. That is visible to our material eyes, he is not there.
Okay.
But his Leela, his activities is eternally present in this entire creation.
Okay.
By practicing love, we will be able to see him.
Okay.
That's the only difference.
So even Devatas, when they appeared here, means the respective places also similar, we can conclude. How was that it is? They were.
So when Lord comes,
Yeah.
his entourage, his associates, they come along and they perform leelas with the Lord. Okay?
Okay.
Now, when the duty is over, Lord only went back, the duty is over, they have to become duty bound. So they went back to their respective Devata position and perform their duties of that Prakriti Kriya Manani. That means running the Prakriti. Right?
Correct.
So each one of them have their duties. They went back to perform their duties. That's all.
No, my question is when they appeared here means they were not there during that time. That's what.
ಯಾರೋ ಬೈಕ್
There are
రోడ్లో నైట్ ఎవరో లారీ గిరి వందిరుకున్నాను
Kabir Prabhu, please mute. You are disturbing. Okay. So, Shiv Prasad Prabhu, it is the concept of manifestation and manifestation. Okay.
Correct.
Now, for example, if you go to Vrindavan, there are 3 places: Nidhivan, Vamshivat, Vrindakund. All these 3 places, the eternal pastimes of the Lord continues to happen. That means the Lord and his associates, the gopis, they would perform his leelas all the time. Okay. So they are in unmanifested form. Unmanifested means not visible to our eyes. Okay. Manifested form means they're visible to our eyes. That means you can actually see Krishna. So, for example, Duryodhana, not a devotee, but he still saw Krishna. Right? So this is called manifested form, unmanifested form. This is what happened to the personalities along with the Lord. So there are 2 personalities, Nitya Siddha, manifested and unmanifested. But the sadhana siddhas, basically the devatas, they came, they transformed themselves, morphed themselves, and performed the leela with the Lord. Once the leela was done, they went back home to perform their duties.
Okay.
So it is concept of manifesting, being present, and non-manifest. For example, we have prana pratishtha deities. Prana pratishtha deities, the Lord who unmanifested, remanifested in the form of vigraha, not as a person, not as a physical body person like that. Okay. So we worship the Lord through the Archa Vigraha. That's what the manifestation is now. So different times, different forms of manifestation he would do.
Okay, Brahma.
Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Any other thoughts? Any other questions by anyone? Okay. I hope you really enjoyed the discussion today, and I hope, including myself, whatever kleshas we have in our heart, let's overcome it and practice bhakti better and better. Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरुदेव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, वैष्णव ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम तत्सत। Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Agent Remix wishes you a happy and comfortable journey.
Okay, we'll end the meeting.